A handful of people now recovering after a shooting in Milledgeville. Now investigators searching for who pulled the trigger. How you can help in the case.
And if you're thinking about driving over the speed limit on the interstate, you'll want to think twice. The law enforcement operation happening in Georgia this week.
And Norfolk Southern is performing maintenance work on a rail line near a Bibb Park. How it will impact you in the park, coming up.
Well, good morning. Happy Monday. What a beautiful sunrise we have starting right now over downtown Macon. The time is now 6:30 on this July 18th. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Wanye Reese. A beautiful look, and I saw Hotel 45. The fiance and I, we went out there yesterday, but we opted to stay inside because that heat was just downright disrespectful, Caitlin.
Right, that was a good choice, and probably a good choice today to stay inside as much as possible because I have a feeling it's back today, Alex.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, outside versus in the middle of the Ocmulgee River, it's kind of the same thing. There's just as much water in the air as we headed through the day today. Waking up to temperatures in the 70s right now, 74 in Warner Robins, 76 here in Macon, 77 in Unadilla, 73 out Interstate 16 in Dublin and in Soperton this morning. The dew points also up there, 74 in Warner Robins, 72 in McRae. All of that to say, all of those arrows coming from the Gulf of Mexico are pulling a lot of moisture in here. Now, not seeing that in terms of the rainfall. It was quiet yesterday, quiet this morning, but as we head into the day today, overall about a 30% chance of rain with those feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. Our actual high temperature will be right around 91. But here comes the heat index values for today, 92 beginning at 11 a.m., carrying us into the upper 90s through a majority of the afternoon. We do have a front on our doorstep on the state line. We'll talk about what that means for our rain chances and what our feels like temperatures will be as we get closer to the weekend. Occasionally feeling like 100 plus. All those details just a few minutes away.
Thank you, Alex. This morning, Milledgeville police are trying to figure out who's responsible for a shooting that left 5 people hurt.
It happened at a block party around 12:30 yesterday morning. The police department says officers got reports of shots fired near the intersection of Leo and Nobles Court around the Castlewood subdivision. As they pulled up, they saw a large crowd of people running away. A local hospital told police that 5 people who had been shot arrived at the hospital in private cars. They included 4 women and a man. As of 4 yesterday morning, they were all listed in stable condition at the hospital.
Police say bullets also hit several homes and cars during the shooting. You can call the Milledgeville Police Department if you have any information on the case.
The case of a teen shot and hurt on Friday took a sad turn over the weekend. He ended up dying from his injuries. Bibb County Coroner Leon Jones says 17-year-old Tyreek Young died at a hospital yesterday. He says he was shot in the head. Young was one of 2 teens shot on Carlisle Avenue around 9:30 Friday night.
The other victim was 18 years old. As of Friday, that teen was stable at a hospital. Investigators continue to look into what led up to the shooting and who pulled the trigger. Now to 3 other headlines we're following this morning, starting with the deadly traffic accident in Washington County that left a toddler dead. Sheriff Joel Cochran says it happened on the Fall Line Freeway at Kicklighter Drive last night. He says a 2-year-old boy died. Georgia State Patrol is still investigating. And right now, a 54-year-old man is dead after a single car crash in Crawford County. Sheriff Lewis Walker says it happened around 6:30 last night on Highway 42 South near Matthews Road. They're waiting to release the victim's name until they notify his family. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to that accident.
It's 6:33 in Perry. One man is dead after getting electrocuted after his car hit a power pole. Houston County Coroner James Williams says it happened around 1:30 yesterday morning near Houston Lake and Bear Branch Roads. GSP says the driver drove north on Houston Lake and tried to go around a curve. He ran off the road and hit a power pole. A witness says 25-year-old Jody Beal Jr. got out of the car and walked into the power lines, causing a high voltage explosion. Williams confirmed that downed power line electrocuted Beal Jr. A passenger went to the hospital and should be okay. In state news, Pike County investigators are looking for an 18-year-old woman in connection to the shooting death of another teen. The sheriff's office says investigators issued arrest warrants for Jaden Jappel on murder charges. The shooting happened outside of a home Saturday night and left 19-year-old James Knight dead. Investigators believe the shooting happened during a drug deal. They are still working to identify a second suspect in the case. Police say someone shot a man with a crossbow over the weekend in Atlanta. They say a gold minivan pulled up while the man was outside a convenience store Saturday night. That's when someone in the van got out and fired an arrow at him. Atlanta police say the victim is stable at a hospital.
Well, if your foot sometimes gets a little heavy on the highway, you may want to lighten that pedal to the metal this week. State troopers and law enforcement agencies across 5 southern states, including here in Georgia, are cracking down on speeders during Operation Southern Slowdown. You'll see marked and unmarked patrols on highways and interstates. They say it is all about saving lives. The Georgia Governor's Office of Highway Safety says you'll see enforcement on the roads watching for speeders and aggressive driving. So they say you need to drive the speed limit and buckle up every time you are behind the wheel. Well, staying on the roads, you could soon see work finished up on one in Macon.
That's right. The end is in sight for construction along, you probably know what we're talking about, Jeffersonville Road. Work on the road expansion started years ago. It was supposed to be done in May. Now, Macon-Bibb County spokesperson Chris Floor says construction crews expect the work to be finished by August the 1st.
Now, Alice Jackson lives along Jeffersonville Road. She says the construction has created a lot of hassles in her neighborhood. The main problems, a steep hill she worries will erode, and also poor water pressure after the construction rerouted her pipes.
They told me that once they finished, everything would be good. But it's not. My pressure is not the same. And you know when your pressure is not right.
Flora says once the expansion is done, the county will inspect the work.
Then they'll create a list of needed improvements for the construction company. Oh, were you planning on visiting Amerson River Park today? You might want to take a rain check. We'll explain why. Plus, we give you a look into what some Mercer students are doing to help out in the Dominican Republic. Those are all coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, though, the time is 6:36. You know, we are seeing much clearer skies this week so far than we did last week. It was always just cloudy and gross last week.
Yeah, and generally speaking, we're drier this week than we were last week. We picked up several inches of rain in several spots. It seems like here in Macon, we had storm day after day after
So
day.
you missed out on that one. You got out of Dodge.
Well, let me tell you, in New Orleans, we had storms day after day after day after day.
Down there closer to the Gulf of Mexico, absolutely. But yeah, we saw a lot of overcast skies and kind of the opposite this week. And I think it's going to be like this each morning as we head through the week, as opposed to those overcast starts we had. Here's a live look across downtown Macon. The current temperature 76 degrees as the sun is coming up on this Monday morning. It feels like 76 even though that humidity is at 87% right now. Waking up to 74 in Fort Valley, 75 in Byron, 73 in Perry, 75 in Jeffersonville, and we're looking at mid to low 70s down to the south as well. 76 in Cordele, 75 in Rochelle, and 73 in Telfair County this morning. Now, we're quiet on the radar picture because we were quiet yesterday, so we didn't have much energy to linger through the overnight hours. But if you head up towards the north, we do have a cold front draped across parts of Kentucky down into Tennessee, Arkansas. That's sliding towards central Georgia, or just Georgia itself. But once it gets here, before it gets to central Georgia, it's just going to throw the brakes on and fall apart before it can move through. So not looking at much relief in terms of the temperatures or the humidity as we head into the week ahead. Take a look at future view as we head through the day today, beginning to bubble up some activity around the area, not in the area, but around the area by the noon hour. Could see one or two of those into central Georgia by the time we get past 1 o'clock. Here's 5 p.m., mostly dry across the area, but then here comes a piece of energy from that front, firing off some showers and storms by the time we get to about 9 tonight. That's going to fall apart as it rolls on through here. Now, the front itself tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. is actually going to be draped across northeast Alabama on into northwest Georgia. And that's going to send some more energy down here into central Georgia. I think we'll see a few more showers around the noon hour tomorrow than what this is showing. But the front itself is falling apart up to the north. So that puts us on the wetter side of things, on the more humid side of things. And that means we're going to be dealing with more showers and storms as we head into Wednesday as well. So the best chance of rain is going to be tomorrow at about 70%, 30% today, and then we'll be at a 40% chance of rain riding from there on out Wednesday through Friday to round out the work week. But what the story is going to be here in central Georgia easily is going to be the humidity in the low 70s today, but then look at that Wednesday into Thursday ticking up into the mid 70s. This is going to go right along with temperatures continuing to increase into the mid 90s. So you add it all up and you begin to get feels like temperatures even warmer than that. 91 is going to be our actual high temperature today with a 30% chance to rain. The feels like temperatures mid to upper 90s. Here's how that shapes up on future view. This is by the time we get to the 2 p.m. hour, feeling like the mid 90s across the area. 95 in Macon, 96 in Milledgeville with that southwesterly wind ushering in that Gulf moisture. And we're not going to stop there. We could even top out 97, 98 before all is said and done. And then once we get into about 10 o'clock tonight. Now that boundary you see there is that rain pushing through. That's not the front. Notice those winds continuing out of the south there. So yes, a hot, humid day in store for us here in central Georgia. 91 going to be the high temperature. Again, the better rain chance tomorrow, right around 70%, as that front is as close as it's going to get. But then once we get into the end of the week, high temperatures still in the low 90s. It's the feels like temperatures that are going to bump up because of the increased humidity, and that's going to continue into the weekend. A high temperature of 94 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday, with those dew points in the mid 70s. That pushes feels like temperatures potentially into heat advisory criteria at right around 105 degrees.